Hello all, welcome to Umbari Cloud YouTube channel. And today I'll be presenting Iceberg fast forward a branch. Basically, we're going to talk about branching and web, write, audit, publish concept in Iceberg and how we're going to use the branches. And another video, we're going to talk about tagging and branching and time travel and all the stuff related to tagging and branching. But today we're going to work on branching and how we're going to use data as code concept here, right? Okay, and make sure that everybody should be aware of the metadata layer in Iceberg. Always keep looking at what is the metadata file, what is the purpose of it, and how you're going to use it for time travel, and manifest list, manifest file, how they manage, of course, data files. And then there are many videos. There are a few, I think 4 videos. I was describing about data files rewrite, manifest file rewrite, or remove orphan files. Those kind of the maintenance of Iceberg. So keep watching on it. So let's talk about branches. Iceberg tables use branches to manage different versions of the data, right? So you can create a branch from a given snapshot version. Then you can use for testing, use for machine learning, or maybe for your ETL load, or schema version changes. Anything if you want to test it, or and while you are testing, you don't want others to see that, and it also helps you zero copy cloning. So branches are similar to version control in Git. So Iceberg branches provide a way to isolate and track changes to table. That means once you made a branch, and if you load additional data or modify table or alter columns and whatever you do, and it's isolated and nobody can see it until other than your session. So more often in the data as code concept, right? You create a branch, you load data, you validate, then you merge with the main, right? So same concept here we're going to talk about. So write, audit, publish workflow is the most beautiful, I would say, introduced by Iceberg. So here, all your ETL code, right? You can manage through branches. So historically, what we do is when we load data into table, while you are loading data into table, we will say, okay, don't run any reports. Before that we need to take a backup and all kind of stuff. And what if your ETL fails, right? And then you have to restore from backup and all this stuff. They need additional space. But with web concept, it's part of branching. So it's a new data engineering pattern, data as code pattern. So you load data, you ensure your data quality, and before it is available to the end user consumers. Right? That means before you merge your branch to your main. Okay. So you can create a branch, you separate and write the new data. Fine. So then while you're writing data, nobody can see your new data or whatever alterations you do. And that's a bit of it. Once the data quality check or you verify, and you can merge with the main branch, right? And then it's available for. Then also you can tag it for feature reference. We'll talk about that too. And it's common to do experimental branches. What does it mean? Let's say you QA want to do some testing, or your ML team want to do some testing, right? And they want the production data. And not only that, they want to add additional data to validate their coefficients or any changes they want to do. And now we can't do without branches, many copies of it with the zero copy clone concept, because you have to create a new table and give to them, then you have to do all the physical variations. But with the branch as a zero copy cloning, and you just create a branch and then you have your own table, say exactly same table, same production data, but that's your table, and you can do alters anything you want to do without impacting any production data. We'll look at that one. So, you want to test our data pipelines and, or your QA or ML, but with branching will help you. Okay. So Iceberg branch allows you to create experimental branches where you can test the new transformation or data sources without affecting the production data, because you may be altering the table because with the new source we have additional columns or maybe modified some column data types. Okay. Then sometimes we update data and delete data or make modifications, right? So we don't want not don't want, we want to keep that information, and we don't want to expire those changes also, right? Because for audit purpose, let's say you gave some regulatory work updated on our tables. But with the time travel expiration, right, you don't want to keep it forever with normal time travel, but we want to keep a particular branch, maybe a year. So you can create a branch and tag it, right? And it's there, and for some reason, right? And then of course, anyhow, you're gonna merge it. So your ETL data is code, you merge it to the main, but you keep the branch so for historical purpose, right? So that way, then you can do time travel on the particular branch. So, yeah, Iceberg branches can be used to create a separate branches for the historical data versions, allowing you to comply with the regulations while keeping your main table as current. Right? And of course, you can do time travel, right? The time travel can be done. You just select start from a table, then as of this branch, right? That helps. Um, um, So you can group related branches, right? Then create a time travel. Let's say after quarter, right, or maybe every month, or every update, or every mass updates, and whatever. So you can create a branch and do time travel. Okay. So overall, Iceberg branches offers a flexible way to manage the different versions of your data, facilitating data quality checks, experimentation, right? Particular ML team, QA testing, regulatory complaints, and historical analysis. Right? You keep let's say you want to do some branch quarter one, quarter two, then you can just compare quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four branches data. Okay, what happened in quarter one, quarter two between two branches, right? So you just simply do difference between two branches. You can do that, right? So that's how it helps you the branching. But definitely in Iceberg, everybody should aware of this branching concept and web along with that. And then it's such a zero copy cloning. You don't have to create a physical copy. Then you can just once you've done your experimentation, you shut down, you drop the branch, and then or maybe it will get rid of in our expiration, right? So that's the beauty of branches. Okay. So let's look at what is the ETL branching approach, right? So let's say you have a table, let's assume customer table, then you do some data insert, then everybody can see it, right? And then after that, you do some small changes or whatever, then you have another version of, then everybody can see it. Even after insert, once you commit, and now let's say you introduce the new ETL concept, your Spark code, okay, want to do validation, you don't want to insert directly into the your main table, then because your load takes maybe 3-4 hours while you're loading, you don't want others to see the dirty data, or what if your ETL fails? Before ETL you need to take a backup. All those things you can avoid by introducing an ETL branch, right? Now remember this ETL branch, the ETL branch, you cannot see it. Only your session. That's why you look at here. Not everybody can see that branch until unless you know the snapshot ID or branch name. But generally, when you are creating a ETL branch in your session, in our code session, then you create a branch. Only you can see it. But while you are loading into this branch, your original table as it is, and everybody can see it, of course, they can do time travel. So this is how so the data is in isolation. Nobody can see it. And you can, once you load it, right, then, you can do fast forward. So now, as soon as you cherry pick, now it's called fast forward. Then in older version, it's called cherry pick. Now it's a fast forward. Once you do the fast forward, then everybody can see it, right? Now, once you're done, right, you can drop the branch. You don't need either branch. Okay. Now, let's say you made small changes. Now everybody can see it. Then we're going to do some historical changes. Maybe another ETL comes in. Then we're going to load massive data, right? And then only the session can see it. Then we're going to do fast forward, of course. Then after that, everybody can see it. However, we want to keep this branch, and we don't want to expire this branch. So what we're going to do is we're going to tag it. Once you tag it, then then you can keep that branch. Not only tag it, you can also change the retention period of that branch, and you can keep forever. I mean, forever means in whatever the retention period. So when you do expire, right? Yeah, some of the snapshots can be expired, but this branch will never expire. Then you can do query on this branch. So this video, I'm not touching on the time travel, branch tagging, and retention, all the stuff. But today is mostly ETL and data as code concept, and then WAF and all the stuff. That's what I'm going to. Okay, then fast forward is done. Then the branch is still there. Now look at the how QA and ML team will do. Okay, let's say you have a table and then you have a snapshot. Everybody can see it. Then you create a branch, QA branch, right? And data is moving forward while the QA team testing. Yeah, you're having more data, and this, or you can have another ETL branch loading this, creating the S3. But QA team here deleting, modifying, testing, but nothing happening. Is the main table is keep forwarding, right? Keep moving. And then, then another QA team, they will come in, they will create their own branch on the latest data, right? Then data keep moving further. And then there's the ML team want to do some testing on, right? ML branch, right? And once they're then, as data is progressing forever, then QA done, ML done, right? So, this is how, here, if you look at here, right, all are zero copy cloning, right? These are just zero copy clones. They can do whatever they're testing, they shut down, drop the branch. Okay? So this is, then nothing impacting your production flow, and everybody can test their own, and it's a single line code, and you can implement. Then in between, yeah, your ETLs are happening in between here and here, here and here. Your ETL branch is happening. The way I showed previous. Here, yeah, like this ETL is happening, but so similarly, QA can create, and again, you can create many branches for a given. Then you can create a branch of branch too, right? Why not? So we're going to look at that. Now let's get into some demo. Okay. So here, I'm going to use version 1.50. So let's start it. I'm going to start my Spark, right? And then I'm going to create my database. If it's not there, then I'm going to use that database, right? And then yeah, if it exists, right, I'm going to drop the table, right? And then I'm going to show tables, right? I don't, there's another table. There's one table. Here, so I'm going to read some data, right? I'm going to create some data frame here and same data just for testing. So let's check the count of, yeah, just for, right? Then I'm going to create a table. There are many ways you can create a table. You can use a Spark SQL or data frame right as a table, so I prefer easy way is Spark create table as, right? But this is automatically creates a table. And then, then let's see, use and show tables. Now I have a permits table. Then look at the properties of the table. Yeah, if you look at format, version 2 and Iceberg, okay. But, preferably you should create the table explicitly with a DDL statement, right? Don't do that, um, just make sure that you create explicitly, right? So instead of doing directly with all the, of course, you can alter it later. Okay, let's check the counts on the table. So now we have a table, right? And now let's look at the branch names. I'm going to copy this here. Let's put a, so how do you find the branch names? Your table dot references. And then you can see the branch now have only main branch, of course, the current snapshot ID. Now what we need to do is, in order to enable web, right, audit publishing, that means we want to isolate our changes. So what we need to do is in this session, right, we're gonna set the properties for that table, right? So we're gonna make it as the table is a web. So we need to enable that table. Now going forward, right? So everything is going to be branch. Let's create a branch, right? It can be any name, preferably, if it is ETL and date, or QA underscore date, or something like that. You can automate that process. So let's create a branch, right? Now then let's look at the branch. Check the branches. Now look at here. I got a branch. Now look at the branch snapshotted. That means the branch is just a clone of zero copy clone of your main branch. Okay. So now let's do the count and on the branch. So if you look at here, what I'm doing is this is my table name, then dot branch underscore branch name. Right. Now you can also do, right, main. Can do the main, right? So right now, since the ETL job 421 is a clone of branch main, both has exactly the same data. Okay. Now I'm going to insert some data into my branch. Now look at here. I'm going to insert in select star from. So I'm doing a self insert of some there, right? So we will have more the data insert into the branch. Now so let's check the count in the branch. Okay. So then since we added a 1,000 rows, now look at the count on the main branch. Okay. Main branch still has, so that means the end user, right, still seeing, this user still saying, okay, let's go back to the branch more here. For example, I added 1,000 rows, but when the user says, right, I added 1,000 rows, but the user still saying the, previous data, right? Okay. So now let's look at the branches. Now look at here, right? The since we did the commit, then it has a new snapshot. Main has one snapshot ID. The new branch has a different snapshot ID. Okay. Make sure. Okay. So now with the reference we saw that, and every time any commit is a new snapshot. Now let's look at one more time. Then counts of my branch, counts of my main, right? Version as of, you can do it many ways. I'm using a simple proxy. So what we're going to do is we're going to do fast forward. The fast forward is basically what we are saying is this is my table, and then do a fast forward procedure. And then I want to merge my branch to the main. This is the signature of. So let's run that. So this is a call Iceberg catalog fast forward on this table, and then take this branch, merge it with it. So I'm going to execute, right? Once I execute, then let's check my count on the branch. Yeah, still. Now let's count on my main, right? And then just let's do simple table, right? And I can also do my branch on main, but generally we don't do this way. We always. So now look at my branch is merged, right? So then now, once I fast forward, right? Sorry. Now I did the fast forward. Once the fast forward, now, so the count here, same, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to drop the branch, okay? And then now let's check the count. Yes, check the count. 14,630. Now we are going to drop the branch. And then let's look at the back to the main. This is how you build your branching. Okay. So going further, okay, first thing is you create a branch, only your session can see it. Then once you create the branch, then you're going to do fast forward. Once the fast forward, you're going to drop the, and then everybody can see it. Then you're going to drop the branch. And similarly, right, you can create one more branch. Then, you made the changes, just do the fast forward. Then, everybody can see it, drop the branch or tag it if you want to keep it forever, right? And then since it is tagged, then, everybody can see it. Oh, by the way, this can be seen through, from this guy can see it here. Of course, you have to do the branch name. So this is how you do a fast forward or branching. So the beauty of it is, right? So the beauty is, right, that your changes in isolation. So this is data as code concept. Okay. Start using it, right? More safer, easy to implement. You just enable the web, create the branch, and then just do all inserts in the branch, and then validate it. Then do the fast forward. Right? Okay. So now let's look at another variations. This is basically you just create a branch, you test it, and then give it to the end user or QA team. Create a branch, give it to the QA team, and QA team can insert and do deletes and whatever they want, and then drop the branch later. Now there are scenarios, right? I want to do multiple ETLs before I want to merge, right? So let's look at it. I have a table, then some insert, and everybody can see it. Then I create a branch, right? Then I loaded some data. Now my ETL has multi-step process, right? Load into a table one, and then load into table two, then join to three tables. So for that, you can't, you have multiple ETL jobs, right? So then run the ETL one job, right? And then populate table one. Then what you do is you create a branch from the table one branch, from whatever this branch name is, create a branch from here. So this branch is based on this, right? That means you need to know, so the create branch is based on this branch snapshot. Right? Once you create, yes, of course, you can run your ETL, right? Now, while you are running this branch and this branch, right? After this branch, you cannot touch it. Then once you create a new branch, then you run your ETL, right? Then you're gonna do a fast forward. Once you fast forward, everybody can see. So this model, mostly if you have multiple ETLs in parallel, you're running ETL 1, ETL 2, ETL 3. But ETL 1 creates a branch. So part of your ETL create a branch from your most recent snapshot, whatever is recent. You don't have to you don't have to know the snapshot. Get a branch, you done the ETL, validate it, then create a new branch from this branch, run the ETL2, then validate it, then do fast forward. Okay, let's look at that. Okay, I'm going to run. Okay. So same thing, right? And then what I will be doing is I'm creating another table called permits one, right? Exactly same table, previous whatever we. So then I have read the data, then same data here. Then I'm going to create a permits one table, right? And then just check the table. Now I have permits one, right? Then show the properties. Then check the count, right? So we saw the count here, and of course we're going to enable web, right? Then I'm going to create a branch name. Again, each table has own branch names. It's not, the branches are not universal, right? It are universal for a given table. Okay, that means it should be unique within a table. Okay, let me charge my name. Okay, and so now let's look at the branches. Right now, I have it. Now both are exactly same snapshot ID. Then let's check the count. Now I'm going to insert the data into my branch. We already did in the previous example. Now let's look at the count, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run one more time, right? Now look at the counts, right? I can run multiple counts, right? And the same. So then what let's look at my main branch. Okay, main branch is still the previous. So what I'm going to do is now let's check the my branch snapshot ID. So I'm going to create a branch, this branch from this branch, right? So that means I know the snapshot ID, right? So I'm going to create some, I'm using create branch one using this snapshot ID. By the way, you can automate that, so get the for a given branch and then get the most recent snapshot ID, then create assign it to a variable. Once you assign to the variable, then create a branch. Now I'm going to create a branch. Now let's look at the reference table. Now then the new branch is based out of the main branch, the ETL job 2 branch. Now I'm going to insert into the branch 2, right? Now if you look at, as soon as I did a commit, it has a new branch, new snapshot ID. Now let's look at the counts here, right? And then we saw that we are inserted. Now let's go and check the main still, right? The main is still here, right? But if we inserted data, then we made a branch, we inserted data. Now what we're going to do is, right? We're going to do fast forward. Let's look at the one more time counts. Okay, so my main, now I'm going to merge this branch to the main. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay, let's, just run and then let's look at my counts on my branch. Then look at my counts on the main. Now let's look at counts on my main table, right? Here, yeah, back to here. Just for, look at the back one more time, look at the count on my branch, then my main, my late branch two, but, let's go to the count on, so what we will do is we're going to drop the, ETL job, right? Then we're going to drop the branch two, right? Then we're going to check the count here, back to make sure, yeah, so same count. So now, we once we're done, then we're going to drop these two branches. And then, so when you have multiple, sometimes we run parallel, not parallel, but sequence of ETLs, right? Parallel is not going to work, by the way. Sequence of ETL. So you run ETL one, then ETL two, ETL three, because let's say you need a staging table, you load the staging table, then you do transformation. Then, but always make sure that you get to the most recent snapshot ID, and then so then after that do the fast forward. So this is how you're going to build your branching strategy. Then of course, definitely when you're doing ETL work, you start using web concept. Then for QA, ML, create many branches. It's not going to impact. It will not impact your production data. It will not impact your production performance. These are all another snapshots because each snapshot still wants the previous snapshot files. Then if you add a new data, it has new files. If you drop it, those files are removed. Then those kind of things. So this is how you work on your branching and particularly multi-branching a part of your multiple ETLs. Sequence ETLs is really helpful. These are my info. Then just reach out to me if you have any questions. Okay. Thank you all. Bye now.